Remember I said the other day that Race Batum Tatum is using Nolan Wells' death the same way that Candace Owens used George Floyd's death? Well, Race Batum Tatum is proving me right. When the video of that officer kneeling on George Floyd's neck for 8 minutes and 47 seconds went viral and black people got activated, so did Candace Owens. There was all of the protests that took place, and those protests shifted some things politically in the United States. And while black people were active in demanding justice for George Floyd, Candace Owens got activated to invalidate the voices of black people. Black people used their voices, their platforms, their energy, and were active in demanding justice for George Floyd. They wanted his murderer held accountable. Candace Owens, on the other hand, took that time to, one, attempt to invalidate the voices of black people, and she did that by trying to make it seem that George Floyd was responsible for his death. How did she do that? She did that by digging up all of the dirt necessary on George Floyd. They amplified the check that was written to the store saying that it was a bad check. They amplified that there was fentanyl in his system, and they used those two subjects to basically say that George Floyd was responsible for his own death, and black people just gravitate and want to cheer on or celebrate other problematic black people. She never wanted to acknowledge the viral video that we all saw where this man knelt on George Floyd's neck for 8 minutes and 47 seconds. No. It's the bad check that he wrote, and it's the fentanyl in his system. That George Floyd wrote the bad check. George Floyd did the drugs. Therefore, George Floyd is responsible for his death. Well, we see Race Batum Tatum. He's doing the same thing. He's attempting to invalidate the voices of black people who are calling for justice. They want accountability for whoever murdered Nolan Wells. And Race Batum Tatum is doing the same exact thing. He is amplifying those who were last with Nolan Wells, those who have a suspicious cloud around them regarding the death of Nolan Wells. He's amplifying these people and trying to present them to us as if they are innocent, as if he is a part of this investigation, as if he's seen all of the evidence. The only evidence that Race Batum Tatum got is what these people who are suspicious looking, it is what they gave to him. And he's rolling with it. All to invalidate the voices and the calls for justice from black people. And just like Candace tried to use drug use, fentanyl use against George Floyd, Race Batum Tatum is falling right in line and is trying to use drugs and Boogah sugar against Nolan Wells.
Close to Nolan made mention that they're almost 100% sure that he may have been partaking in the use of, and it's unfortunate. I've been knowing this, at least that part, for a while now. Heavy but drinking, and there's involved, and there's a particular person whom I know this person's name. I'm not going to disclose it. I'm going to go to the police first.
Yeah, right on time, right on cue. Race Batum Tatum is now pushing the idea that Boogah Sugah, that drugs were involved. And it is my opinion that he is insinuating that Nolan Wells was partaking in the Boogah Sugah. He ain't gonna say nothing. He's gonna go to the police first. First, after he makes this announcement on his podcast. I don't know, call me crazy, but I'm sitting here thinking, why do I have to depend on Race Batum Tatum to break the news about some mysterious person who they believe is 100% sure that Boogah Sugah was involved? We're going to sit here on bated breath, hoping and praying that Race Batum Tatum is going to come through with the facts when we all just watch Nancy Grace catch him in a lie? We don't have to wait for Race Batum Tatum for anything. What we can do is we can wait for the toxicology report. That right there will give us the facts of the situation. Am I right? I mean, they've done an autopsy report. The state did an autopsy report. And then there was an independent autopsy done, right? So 2 autopsies was done, right? Which means if an autopsy was done, then a toxicology test was done, right? So all we have to do is wait for those facts to come out. I checked out a couple of articles to see if the toxicology report has come back. I checked out USA Today, and USA Today's article says Mitchell is a person that is talking about the case in the article, said several other key pieces of information were needed to make a determination about Wells's cause of death. The toxicology report and more information about how Wells entered the water. One other significant finding that Mitchell said merits further investigation is an area of red discoloration on tissue at the back of Wells's head by the occipital bone. I believe Wells is a part of the independent autopsy that was done. Then I checked out this news article from ABC 13 that also talked about some of the preliminary information and findings that came out. And in their article, they say the official autopsy report from the state medical examiner's office and the toxicology tests are still pending. So yeah, we don't have to wait for he said, she said, or hearsay information that would be provided from Race Batum Tatum. All we have to do is be patient for the official reports to come out. It will give us all of the information that we need. And so now it just doesn't stop there. No, Race Batum Tatum has to get every click he can regarding this case. Race Batum Tatum put this tweet out, and in this tweet he says, Nolan Wells' mom calls me out on Don Lemon's show, but why refuse to answer direct texts or speak with the families involved if your only goal is getting the truth? You do not sue your way to the truth while deliberately running away from the facts. What facts does Race Batum Tatum have? He has other people's account for what happened. That's it. He doesn't have facts. He knows what the other side has told him. That's it. That's it. That's it. The official investigation that is taking place with detectives, the official reportings, the autopsy report, the toxicology report, he has no access to that. So what facts is Race Batum talking about? Why she's not talking to the other people involved? Why would she? There's an investigation taking place. They've lawyered up. Those kids lawyered up. They have attorneys, and I'm sure the attorneys are telling them, no, don't talk to the parents. Don't talk to their lawyer, Ben Crump. Don't talk to Al Sharpton. They didn't teach you this in cop school. And lastly, He says that Nolan Wells' mother called him out on Don Lemon's show. Race baitum Tatum. You are a liar. You are a liar. That lady didn't have 2 words to say about you.
So when you talk about all the things that have been spread, there is this officer, I hate mentioning his name, a former officer who is a far right wing, but who's been doing the interviews and has been saying, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not even going to comment on Brandon Tatum. No.
I respect that. And that's the right answer for everybody, I believe. And I feel like, because I mentioned him, I'm like, why did I even mention him? Because he doesn't deserve a platform.
No, he does not.
Where was the call out? Did y'all see a call out? Don Lemon was going to ask her a question. She said no. She doesn't have anything to say about Brandon Tatum. That's it. She shut that down. Don Lemon respected it, and they moved on. So where was the call out? I know where there was a call out. And baby, was it a call out?
This is Brandon Tatum. Y'all just see what unfunny ex-comedian D.L. Hewlett just said about me. Posted a picture of me and my wife. To do what? To be a racist? You are the lamest dude in all of comedy. What is more lame than calling yourself the job you used to have? You're not an officer anymore. You were a football player who failed at being a football player. You didn't make the team, so you became an officer. That wasn't working out, so you became an influencer. You talked about emotion. What is more emotional than this? You cried for a white dude who that people didn't even think you worthy to speak at his funeral. You said you wouldn't cry for your son, but you cried for him. That's not emotion. You talked the way Benjamin Crump talks. Just want to blame white folks. And so I go out there because I know that lame Al Sharpton and Mr. I can't read Benjamin Crump is just race hustling, y'all. You talked about how those boys are innocent. You had proof. Now, I don't know whether they're innocent or not. I don't know what happened there. But I know one conversation with a failed football player and a social media influencer is not the predicate. You don't have any toxicology report. You don't have an autopsy report. You talked about black people acting a fool. Black people are right to be suspicious of a state that took 31 years and 3 trials to prosecute and find guilty the murder of Medgar Evers. Black people are right to be suspicious of a state that in 2005 found 215 black people that were dead and buried in a pauper's grave and nobody knew they were there. Black people are right to be suspicious of a state that just killed a 1-year-old boy and nobody's being brought to account. Black people are right to be suspicious of a state that has been poisoning black people with the water since the 1960s. Black people didn't look for this fight. They want justice. All they want is accountability. And if it's those boys, it should be that. Nobody has a predetermined notion. I don't know what happened. But if you're saying that Al Sharpton and that Benjamin Crump are on one side, you're certainly on the other. You talk to them for 2 days and all of a sudden you know if they're guilty. You know if they're innocent. You know that. Your name is, your moniker is Officer Tatum, not Detective Tatum. You didn't make your way to detective. You're an influencer who says what white people want you to say. And don't you find it interesting that they chose to speak to you, and they chose to speak to you for the same reason that you're a conservative, for the same reason Turning Point did, because you're safe. They know you're a black man who will do what he's told. You're an unremarkable black man who they know they can count on to be obedient. They pick you for the same reason they pick dogs. What is very interesting to me is this is Nancy Grace.
I love to believe that he goes out swimming all on his own, and the friend girl leaves, the mates from school leave, everybody just leaves him out in the water and he dies.
Now, Nancy Grace is a career prosecutor. She has tried 100 felony trials, 100, and not lost one. And she thinks that's something suspicious. But the social media influencer who failed at football and was a mediocre cop all of a sudden knows more than that? I don't know what happened. You don't know what happened. But I do know this. You said that a young woman with a pot of water acted so suspiciously that she should be shot by cops.
I think that this is justified, but it could have been avoided, but still justified. You can't throw boiling water on a police officer and not get shot.
But you don't think people that want to vote with somebody in proximity to somebody, and that person comes that day acting so suspicious they should be questioned? That's who you are. They paint you for what? What you are is what the people before you, you're Diamond and Silk, you're Candace Owens, you're Stacey Dash, you're that. And your career will age like avocados, because that's what they do. There'll be somebody else that replaces you. I've been around for 40 years doing what I do, and you still know my name. You know how I got to know yours? Somebody sent me a coon alert. They said, and you fit the bill. I don't know who you are, but I know what you are. I know what you do, because I've seen people like you my entire life.
You can say on my career, but my career is longer than your life. You mentioned my name and I have no idea who you are. But I do know this, that one day, when all of this is done, and it'll be after the next election cycle, when people are wondering who you are, when you go the way of the Larry Elders, or the Sheriff Clarks, or the Candace Owens, or the Diamond and Silks, or the Stacey Dashes, or the Armstrong, like all of them, when you're there with them and you're wondering, what happened? It's because you sold your soul for nothing.
Let me just say this. I know people gonna clip this and get back. I don't care. I really feel this way. I'm getting sick of black people. Right? I like the black people like me and others that are conservative, that's smart, but the rest of y'all, I'm sick of y'all. It's hard to even want to be around black people, to be honest.
I have never once, and I've had a disagreement with a lot of black people that I've had disagreement, but I've never once had to make a video explaining I don't hate black people.
I do not hate black people. I know that people who are new to my channel, and you see people out there making these videos, it's comical to me because I don't understand how accountability leads to hate.
You said you can't teach me, you can't make me hate white people. You said that.
You want me to hate white people? I'm not doing it.
My question isn't making you hate white people. I want that at all. What I want to know is, who the fuck taught you to hate us?
Now that is a call out. Anywho, it is my opinion that Race Baitum Tatum doesn't know any more than what the rest of us know. He knows what a group of individuals have told him. He doesn't know if they told him the truth or if they were lying. He doesn't know. Did he have them hooked up to a polygraph? No. We do know that Race Baitum Tatum was caught in a lie by Nancy Grace. We do know that. We do know that Race Baitum Tatum said that Nolan Wells' mother called him out on Don Lemon's show, and I just showed you that that wasn't true. So we do know that Race Baitum Tatum has been less than truthful. He doesn't know what the detectives got. He doesn't know what the evidence is. He doesn't know all of the facts when it comes to the autopsy report. He doesn't know what the facts are on the toxicology report. All he has is information being told to him from another group of people. That's all he knows. And he don't know if they're telling the truth or if they're lying. Hell, I've watched enough of ID discovery to know that a polygraph exam is not admissible in court because of the problems with the exam. And we know, being that Nancy Grace caught him in that lie, that those boys didn't take an actual polygraph examination. So whatever exam that they took is no more admissible than a polygraph. Listen. All I'm saying is, it is my opinion that Race Baitum Tatum cannot be trusted. He's in the midst of all of this for 3 reasons. One is to invalidate black voices and black people. Number 2 is to lift up, prop up, provide cover to the white people in this situation. And 3, he wants to make as much money as possible doing number 1 and number 2. Listen, I've said this on more than one occasion. There are thousands of people out here in the social media world that have large platforms. That does not mean that they all know what the hell they are talking about. And Race Baitum Tatum, in this situation, in my opinion, he does not have all of the facts of this said situation. He's biased, he's anti-black, and he's in it for the money.